you know what? I've come here today, and I respect you, Chris. I think you're a good guy. I think you're a nice guy. You know, you're obviously the people's champ now, so it's like...
No, I never
I'm
said
excited,
that.
I'm excited. No. You said you're the people's
Eddie
champ.
said you were the people's champ. I never said
Well, listen, some people are going to love you, some people hate you, vice versa.
I did, I thought I'd break him. I thought he would quit.
Yeah.
Because that's what cheaters do. You know, people are forgetting now that this guy is a drug cheat. So when you have that type of mentality to where you take steroids to try and improve your performance, that usually means that when you get into tough situations, you're going to revert back to your cheating mentality, which is,
I love this. I love it.
I don't want to be here anymore. I'm going to find a way out. I give up. So yeah, I thought...
2 men, 12 rounds, one unforgettable night. Back in April, Chris Eubank Jr and Conor Benn gave us a war worthy of their names. A fight that lived up to 3 decades of rivalry. They climbed out of their father's shadows and lit up the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. But when the final bell rang, the questions didn't stop. Eubank says he proved his levels above. Benn says he was 1 round away from glory. And right now, we get the answers.
When Chris Eubank Jr and Conor Benn step into the ring on November 15th, they won't just be fighting each other. They'll be carrying the weight of a rivalry that started before either of them was even born. This isn't just another boxing match. This is round 2 of a family war that's been going on for 35 years. And after what happened in their first fight back in April, things are about to get serious.
This is pride, family, and legacy on the line. Chris Eubank Jr and Conor Benn.
I'll fight you right now.
We're going to fight when I want to fight.
This is more than a fight. This is unfinished business, and it'll be live on DAZN on November 15th.
Before we dive straight into the details, please like, comment, and subscribe to my channel for more news and updates. Let's talk about that first fight for a second. It was wild. 12 full rounds of non-stop action at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, the same place where they'll meet again in just a few days. Eubank Jr won that night. All 3 judges gave him the same score, 116 to 112. But winning came at a huge cost. After the fight ended, Eubank Jr went straight to the hospital. He was so dehydrated that he looked completely different. He even posted a photo of himself in the hospital bed, and honestly, you could barely recognize him. He looked that bad. But here's where things got really messy. Eubank Jr claims his ambulance was stopped from leaving the stadium for 20 minutes. 20 minutes while he needed medical help. He even released a video showing what happened after the fight. And he suggested that Eddie Hearn, who promotes Conor Benn, might have had something to do with the delay. Hearn denied everything. Now lawyers are getting involved. Hearn is actually suing Eubank Jr over comments he made at a press conference back in September. This rivalry goes way deeper than just boxing. So why did Eubank Jr end up in such bad shape? 2 words: weight cut. The fight was at 160 pounds, which is middleweight. That's Eubank Jr.'s natural weight class. But here's the problem. He actually missed weight by half an ounce. Just half an ounce. But that tiny mistake cost him 375,000 pounds in fines. And it gets worse. Both fighters agreed to something called a rehydration clause. After they weigh in, they can't gain more than 10 pounds before the fight. So Eubank Jr had to stay at 170 pounds or less on fight night. For a guy his size, that's really hard to do. His body needed water, but the rules said he couldn't drink enough to feel normal. Ben Shalom, who promotes Eubank Jr., was not happy about this. He said, "We aren't happy with the rehydration clause. Is it healthy? Is it right? Should it be banned from boxing? Absolutely." Strong words, but the same rule is in place for the rematch. Conor Benn, on the other hand, weighed in at 156 pounds for the first fight. He normally fights at 147 pounds, which is welterweight. So he moved up 2 full weight classes to fight Eubank Jr. But it wasn't as hard for him because he had room to grow. Now let's talk about how this rematch even happened. The original plan was to fight again in September, but Eubank Jr. changed the date. When asked about it, he was pretty blunt. He said,
Genuine question.
I was ready.
Well, you wasn't because the fight fell through. We had Wembley booked.
I don't need to fight when you want to fight.
No, it's not when I wanted to fight. It's when we all had agreed. You and your team with Turk Al Sheikh. A genuine question, because it was all agreed. Wembley was booked, by the way. There was maybe 6 weeks of negotiations. The date, venue set, booked. Asked me if I was good for that date. No problem. What happened, Chris?
I decided that I didn't want to fight until September 20th because you did.
I wasn't, to be honest. I'll be ready for. I'll fight you tomorrow.
I saw every
I'll fight you right now.
I'm ready for Sep 2020.
Yeah, but I was ready for whenever. I'll fight you now. I'll fight you tomorrow.
This kid wants to fight Sep 2020th, so you know what? We're not going to do.
He continued,
Do it. I don't give a damn when this kid wants to fight. We're gonna fight when I want to fight. I won. I don't have to march to the beat of these people.
Would you say that's the genuine?
Then fired back, saying it was announced right after the first fight and that Eubank was just making excuses. The tension between these two is real. During a face-off interview on DAZN, things got interesting. Ben actually showed some respect. He said,
"Do you know what? I've come here today, and I respect you, Chris. I think you're a good guy. I think you're a nice guy. You know, you're obviously the people's champ now, so it's like..."
No, I never
I'm
said
excited.
that.
I'm excited. No. You said you're the people's
Eddie
champ.
said you were the people's champ. I never said.
Well, listen, some people are going to love you, some people hate you.
but then he added,
Yeah, I personally think you're a bit of a... You know, like, I don't really like you. But I respect you, and I think you're good at what you do.
Eubank didn't hold back either. He started talking about Ben's lifestyle. Ben bought an expensive car with the money he made from the first fight. Eubank kept bringing it up. He said,
Every time I jump in there, and I smell pain.
Did you arrive in it today?
Yeah, of course I smell pain. I smell undisciplined.
Ben laughed it off. He shot back.
I smell a
Every
setup.
time I jump in that Rolls, yeah, Chris, I'll go, thank you, Chris. Thank you, Chris.
I'm happy for you. You know?
No, sorry, thank you. I'm saying thank you to you as well. I'm grateful.
Enjoy it. You know what I've.
The back and forth was intense, but also kind of funny. These guys really don't like each other, but there's a weird respect underneath it all. Both fighters also talked about what they expected before the first fight. Ben admitted, "I thought I was going to have you face down on the canvas." Eubank Jr. thought he would break Ben. He said, "I thought he would quit, because that's what cheaters do." He was hurt, he was tired, and he stayed in there. And for that, I'll give him his respect and his credit. Still a drug cheat, but you stayed in there. That drug cheat comment is important. Back in 2022, Ben failed some drug tests right before they were supposed to fight. The fight got canceled at the last minute. It's a huge part of their story, and something Eubank Jr. brings up all the time. Now, looking ahead to the rematch, both guys are making big promises. Ben said,
You liked, I'm going to systematically beat you. Systematically beat you. Oh, you like that word? Systematically beat you November 5th.
Eubank Jr. responded with his own game plan. He said,
I guess I just have to be even more vicious, even more ferocious, even more steadfast in my ability and my mindset. You know, my mindset going into that fight was, it doesn't matter what this kid does. It doesn't matter what he may or may not be capable of. I am not going to stop until I am pulled off of this guy. That was my mentality. It will be the same on November 15th.
Punch your head in, yeah, no doubt.
When that bell goes and those fists start flying, I think that he will revert back to what he is, which is an emotional kid who gets caught up in the moment and will make those mistakes. Me being...
So what do the experts think? Opinions are all over the place. Harlem Eubank, a family member, thinks Chris will be more clinical this time. He said,
I think it will be clinical this time. You know, I don't think we'll see the back and forth of the first fight. There was a lot of things in the first fight where, you know, Chris was at a disadvantage going into the ring. I feel like he would have learned from that experience the last time out, made the changes. You know, he's got a great team around him. I've seen how they work up close for the Liam Smith rematch, and I really feel like he's going to go in there and dominate this time. And I think, you know, I said that last time. I think this time he's, you know, I know his preparations are spot on, and I look forward to him going in there and causing some damage.
Brian McIntyre, Eubank's trainer, is confident too.
There better be something different, because if not, it's going to be the same outcome.
We're going to get that win. We're definitely going to get that win. We already done won. We get our hand raised and go on about our business.
But not everyone agrees. Hamza Shiraz made a bold prediction. He thinks Ben will stop Eubank within 6 rounds. He explained,
What's your prediction, Ben or Eubank?
I've got Conor Benn to win inside 6 rounds. I feel like the weight will affect Eubank too much on how it affected him before as well. And it was a hard fight. It wasn't an easy fight. Yeah, Conor Benn to win inside about 6 rounds.
Eddie Hearn, who promotes Ben, is really confident. He said Ben looks much better at 160 pounds now. He explained,
Up now at 160, he just looks thicker. You know, he's got, you know, his waist looks bigger, his legs look bigger, his trunk looks bigger. And I was just really impressed with, I mean, I've got to say, not met many people in boxing that work as hard as Conor Benn. Phenomenal athlete, incredible work ethic, but just a smartness about his work and a maturity about his work. And I've always felt that he can beat Eubank, but I left that gym feeling really confident that he beats Eubank. And listen, Eubank was surprised in that first fight. There was no doubt about it. He got the shock of his life. And he will be working very hard with Bomac and the team. And I expect a better Chris Eubank. But Conor was poor last time. He knows that. Tony knows that. Like he can be so much better than that. And I really believe he's going to get this performance right. I really believe he's going to win the.
Jamie Moore brought up some important points about Eubank's age and the toll boxing takes on your body. He said, when you go to the well and you go to the well, there's a point where you go, there's no water here. And at some point, Eubank's going to get there. I feel like towards the end of that fight last time, he was running on empty. Moore also pointed out that Benn is younger and has more room to improve. He said, Conor, he's younger, he's got more growth in terms of learning lessons, so he's probably improved from the first fight. If Conor's improved from the first fight and learned the lessons, and it took a lot out of Eubank, then for me, it brings it back to level playing field again. Johnny Nelson was even harsher. He said, Chris will give himself every possible chance, but in reality, personally, I just think with the last performance of Chris, I thought, you've got nothing left. You've got no more improvement on what I'm seeing there. When asked if Benn could win, Nelson said, without a doubt. He couldn't have done any more. If he could have knocked out Conor in that fight, he would have done. He just couldn't get rid of it, and Conor stuck it. Tim Bradley broke down what Benn needs to do differently. He said Benn can knock out Eubank, but he needs to make changes. Bradley explained,
when you're fighting a taller guy, you never want to step back in straight lines. You want to exit the sides. He stepped back in straight lines. He allowed Eubank to extend with those long arms, so he's getting caught on the end of his shots.
Bradley also said Benn got too wild early on. He advised,
you got to be more reserved, my man. Act like you've been there before. You got to control those emotions. All right? A lot of swinging, a lot of wild swinging, a lot of energy wasted early that you could have had on the back end. You could have finished stronger, but you didn't. You wasted a lot of energy swinging that air. Mad, intense. Hey, controlled aggression.
Now let's talk about Chris Eubank Sr. His involvement in the first fight was huge. For years, he and his son weren't talking. They were estranged. Before the first fight, Eubank Sr. was actually telling his son not to fight Benn at all. But then, the night before the fight, something changed. Eubank Sr. showed up in disguise and met with his son. The next day, they arrived at the stadium together. The cameras caught it all. When their arrival played on the big screens, the crowd went crazy. They walked to the ring together. It was one of the most emotional moments in boxing last year. Eubank Jr. talked about how much that meant to him. He said, my dad gave me those extra few percentages in the first fight when I needed to push through those last few rounds. Knowing that my old man is there and he's showing up, that gives you that little bit of extra pump, that little bit of extra oomph to stay in there and get the job done. And good news for Eubank Jr. His dad will be there again. He confirmed he will be at the fight. He will definitely be at the fight. This family rivalry goes back decades. In 1990, Chris Eubank Sr. beat Nigel Benn by knockout. 3 years later, they fought again and it ended in a draw. The Eubank family has never lost to the Benn family. Chris Jr. is trying to keep that streak alive. Conor is trying to finally get a win for his family name. The fight happens November 15th at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. You can watch it on DAZN. And here's some good news for fans. DAZN is now available on Prime Video in the United Kingdom and United States. This is the first DAZN pay-per-view that you can buy through Prime Video. It costs £24.99 in the UK and $59.99 in the US. The betting odds have Eubank Jr. as a slight favorite at 8-13. Benn is 11-8. A draw is 16-1. But after everything we've seen, this fight could go either way. Both guys are healthy, both guys are ready, and both guys believe they're going to win. The stage is set for another war.
What are your thoughts on this matter? Write your comments and suggestions in the comment section below, and don't forget to like and subscribe.